Now, speaking of high-achieving young folk, our studio guests today are going to be telling us how to take the label of junior achievement to a whole new level, as a team of students from QEII High School were crowned as winners of this year's hard-fought Pitch It competition at Islexpo 2018. Before we find out more about the team themselves, we're also joined by Katie Nicholson from contest organisers Bridge Angel Network. Katie, lovely to have you with us again.
Good afternoon.
So first of all, for those who might have missed it first time round, just explain what the Pitch It competition is for us.
So for the past couple of years at Islexpo, Bridge has been organising Pitch It, and we've worked with Junior Achievement in both those years. We've done what we deem to be an adult pitching session, and then we've always had representatives from the Junior Achievement Company programme who've always, a bit biased, but have kind of blown the socks off the adult competition. So this year we decided to do one session where we opened it to all, and we had entries from over 25 different individuals, and we included the JA entries in that as well. So they really were thrown in the mix. It was a fair contest, and at the end of the day Flux came out the winners, so they were brilliant, and it was really pleasing to see such young inspirational people win that prize.
That is incredible when you think about it, because I know having obviously we've talked about Pitch It quite a lot on Women Today and met some of the previous applicants and the previous winners as well, and the standards are extremely high.
They really are, and I think that's why it was so great to see these guys, Flux, who are here today, come out as winners, because it was just showed that you don't have to be, a certain age. It's really all about determination, how great your idea is, and how you plan to take that idea forward.
And what were some of the other entries that they were up against?
So we had a pharmaceutical company, and we had a couple of other junior achievement teams in there. We had people who wanted to do apps for building and construction, so to try and help find a workman easier. It was a real mix.
Which is just brilliant in itself. And just remind people again, what were they actually competing for? What were the prizes?
So we had a £1,000 cash prize, which was kindly donated by Bridge and also Spark Impact, and also 2 months free access to the new Eagle Lab that's just opened in Douglas, which was very kindly donated by Barclays as well. And then Bridge and our sponsors have thrown in a mentoring package for the winners to access as and when they need.
Which is really useful, I'm sure. And also, we should mention there was a bit of a difference this year with the competition, wasn't there? It was open to the public.
Yeah, so this year, in previous years, Bridge have kind of chosen people from the deal flow and people that we've been working with, and many of them have been very experienced people. Whereas this year we thought actually we wanted to open it to all and give everyone a chance, because people were coming up to us and asking how could they enter. And we thought Islexpo, it was something for everyone. It was open to all to attend, so why not really open it up and let entries come in from all over the island and from the UK as well.
Which is brilliant. And we are joined, as Katie just mentioned, by the winners. We've got a lot of people in the studio with us, as we said, which is always fantastic. The winners, as Katie said, were Flux, and they are a student team from QEII High School. We're going to speak, first of all, with 3 of the members of the team. We've got Mikey Makin with us, who's a team leader. We've also got Andrew Gomersall, who's the design officer. And we've got Nathan Hamer with us as well, who is, we're calling him the finance director. He said officer, but I'm going to call you finance director today, Nathan. We're going to up your position there. So let's go to you first then, Mike, as team leader. Who are Flux then, and what is your business idea?
Well, we are a student company with hopes of becoming a real company one day, where we have more employees, we have site, and we make profit. And what we hope to achieve with our product, our wireless charger, is to innovate further and create more electronic products that help maintain and charge phones.
Okay, so it's a technical product there, and it's affinity, isn't it? And it's a wireless charger. Just explain how it works.
Well, basically there's a coil inside, and the coil fires around electrons, and then it kind of inducts through the air into the coil in the back of most phones. However, we have a product that allows it to be able to charge iPhones 5 to 7 without, because they weren't built in with the coil, so we've allowed that with a coil that we can put underneath cases.
Who's the electronic whiz that was able to work all this out then?
That's Andrew Gomersall.
Andrew, tell us, how on earth do you know all of this?
So I've been doing a little bit of research through the whole process, and at the start we didn't know exactly what to make. So we were just browsing around, seeing if we could find any products that needed like outside opinions on how to make them better. But our aim was a wireless charger, and we were researching the internet. We were asking different companies about what we should do. We went to Strix in don't know where it is.
Ramsey, yeah.
Ramsey.
Ramsey.
Went there and we discussed our product. We had a few prototypes at this point, and we took them to them, and they gave us some feedback on manufacturers, how we should get it done. So their feedback helped a lot, and so that's kind of.
And how long have you been working on putting all this together then?
From the start, I think about
October,
yeah.
Wow, that's not long, really, is it, to sort of get your idea together, form a business, and how did the roles come about, Mikey? How did you determine who was going to do what role within the business?
Well, I was the one that wanted to do JA and put the team together, so I was already friends with Andrew, and I knew that he was really good with electronics. And then we added Callum, who's not here right now, and then me and Andy figured we needed someone with immense amount of brain power and skills. So we hunted for Nathan for about a day till we found him.
Where were you hiding, Nathan?
Well, the first day of school was very hectic, so there was lots of things going on. We're never really together, so eventually I found Nathan in the common room.
So you're the one with the immense amount of brain power who's tasked with the finances of the business. It's not something, to be fair, that many teenagers, when they're going through school and exams and everything, really have to think about. So was this a huge learning curve for you?
Yeah, definitely. I don't think I'd ever considered how much capital you really needed to get a business going. For us, it was £3,000 just to even look at it, look at the problem. But getting to that stage and raising all of that capital was really a tough task. Yeah.
And how did you do it?
So initially we did fundraising. We found that very slow, and because we weren't able, as being young adults, weren't able to use things such as Kickstarter and that type of thing, we went on to look at different techniques. So in the end, we ended up pre-ordering. So we had to go and approach companies such as Manx Telecom and Colburn, who are now stocking our product, and asking them to make pre-orders with us. And that's how we got to our total.
Which is amazing. So, Mikey, your product is actually available for people to get their hands on now.
Yes, it is.
That's awesome. So they can just go into a shop in town and buy it, and you've made this thing. That is it must make you feel very, very proud.
Yes, I do feel. I'm just proud of my team, really. Like Andrew, he put it together, he made it, and then Nathan sorted out all the finance and made it sellable with the safety precautions and all that. So I couldn't be happy with what I've made out with.
And Andrew, you're the one who knew what was needed to make this product happen. Were there a lot of sort of, let's say, intense conversations between you and Nathan with him saying, we can't afford this, we can't do that?
Yeah, there was very different. Like at the start, we started looking at manufacturing our own circuitry to go within the product, but we turned out to get that certified and ready to work and how to do it was going to cost upwards of £1,500 just to get that one part of it done. So we outsourced to different places and got the things that we needed, and then the outer shell of our case was made over here at EBIS, and they injection mould our cases for us over here.
Do you know, it's incredible, isn't it, listening to this? Because, I mean, Katie, listening to what they're talking about here, and Nathan mentioned as well that as, sort of a young group, they weren't able to necessarily go the same channels as some established businesses and business people would have gone. So they've overcome so many more hurdles and yet still have succeeded. That is incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really great. And they've obviously shown that they've been really proactive, approaching different companies. And it's great to see willingness from companies in the business community like Strix helping you, because they've got that expertise that you otherwise wouldn't have access to. So that's really great, I think, as well.
And I should say as well that, this isn't the first time you've done very well with your business, because through Junior Achievements Company of the Year, you actually came third, didn't you, in that as well, earlier on this year. But this, I'm assuming, was a very different experience. So, Mikey, tell us how the Pitch It competition itself, what did you actually have to do then for this? What was it like?
It was pretty tense knowing we were going to come up against adult competition. And we felt like we needed to bring something more than that they had. So we didn't want to ask for too much money. So we went with a medium price, and then we presented what we had, what we've built, and what we're going to do. And then we hoped that they enjoyed what we had going for us.
And what sort of feedback did you all get then? So Andrew, what were people telling you after you did your sort of presentation?
We had a few people, like the crowd was immense. After we finished our presentation, it was quite an exhilarating experience. And then afterwards, we had a few different people from different companies around the UK coming up speaking to us about our product individually, and I think that was quite nice to see. And yeah.
And Nathan, how are the figures working out so far?
Well, yeah, we've broken even. So anything we do from now is all profit to us. But it was so good to meet with all of the different people on the day itself. I mean, we've been talking to different people in all sorts of different industries, and that's been one of the really exciting bits, is going on from that competition to where we're going to go now. That's where it's exciting.
And where are you going to go now? What's next?
So we're looking at new products. One of the key ones that we're looking at is a resonance charger, which sounds complicated. It's in essence the same product, but it works over a larger range. So instead of just being a contact wireless charger, it would work over 50 centimetres, a metre, which is really quite exciting. There's only one other company that I know of doing that at the moment.
And I'm presuming, Andrew, this will come from your brain then, sorting all this out.
Yeah, it is a mixture of the whole team with research and towards that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's going to be a very long and hard task to overcome.
So this is fantastic. So Mikey, if someone's listening now as a young person is thinking, I might have a go at creating a business, what sort of advice would you give them?
Right now, definitely do it through JA. The support they offer you is fantastic. It's a nice introduction. It's nice and easy. But then having the confidence in the right people to make a company and project yourself forward into the business world is fantastic.
Well, that's a very nice link. Thank you very much, because up after the break, we will be finding out a lot more about junior achievement. But Sarah, having conversations like this with the young people of our island is so inspiring, isn't it?
Absolutely mind-blowing. I can't believe not only how much you have achieved, but how much you're intending to achieve as well. Bright things coming from these guys.
Definitely.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Well, stay tuned. We'll be meeting other members of the team and also talking to Sue Cook, who is the Chief Executive of Junior Achievement, after the break.
The Nation Station, Manx Radio.
Abbey Dental, sponsors of Women Today, for all aspects of today's dental care. Highly recommended throughout the Isle of Man.
And it's just come past 25 minutes past 2 now. You are listening to Women Today. We are talking to a number of people about Pitch It, about junior achievement, about enterprise. And before the break, as we said, we mentioned junior achievement. And I'm delighted to say that we are joined by Chief Executive of Junior Achievement, Sue Cook. Thank you so much for being with us, Sue. So for those that don't know, just explain what junior achievement actually is and does.
Okay, so Junior Achievement is an educational charity, been established in the Isle of Man for probably just over 30 years, but actually it's a worldwide charity. So we go into schools and help young people make the link between education and employment. So currently we have 400 volunteers from business and the wider community who are helping in schools to deliver our programmes, and we're reaching 5,500 students on the Isle of Man.
My word, that is a large number. And it must be a really daunting time, actually, for students, because the transition from being in school, where you're very well supported, you've got people you can turn to all the time, into a workplace where a lot of times you're sort of starting out by yourself. It must be a difficult transition for some to make.
We live in a really complex world. Things are changing so rapidly. How do you equip young people with the skills that they need to go into employment? Because most of the jobs that are going to be around in maybe 10 years' time don't even exist yet, probably 70 to 80% of the roles. So how do we equip our young people with the skills that's needed for the future? So JA really focuses on what we call soft skills. So they're the skills that you could transfer to any job regardless. We're not in schools to tell them to do one particular type of career, just to help them succeed, whether it's on the Isle of Man or whether it's working in a global economy.
So just explain to us then what you would determine what you class as soft skills.
Well, things like teamwork skills, organisational skills, communication skills, that's a real big one, because we know in today's environment that young people communicate by instant messaging and very rarely would pick up the telephone and talk to one another. And employers are telling us that actual face-to-face and telephone communication skills are the things that are missing. But then we can turn that on their head, because they're probably the one generation that knows more about their managers when it comes to working with the internet and with working with social media. So I think companies need to look at that and harness that and use those skills. And we're working on building the other soft skills, which you've seen today. I mean, they're doing a fantastic job, aren't they?
Oh, they really are. You must have been so proud to see them win that. Were you there when they presented?
Unfortunately, I wasn't. I was busy recruiting a volunteer in Ramsey, but just to see what the team has achieved is quite incredible. I'm incredibly proud of them, and for us to be able to show students what can be achieved for the future. And we were already talking, coming up to Manx Radio, that we're actually getting ready for the next intake of students in September to do this entrepreneurial programme, which, by the way, is the top entrepreneurial programme in the world in education. What we're hoping is that some of the team members of Flux are actually going to become JA ambassadors next year, so they'll help the next cohort of students that are coming through this programme.
So how does that programme actually work?
Well, this particular programme, we do many programmes in school, but this one is the last one we do, which is Year 12, which is 16 to 17-year-olds. So students, we go into school and launch this programme and give them the opportunity to set up and run their own business over the course of an academic year. It's completely voluntary, because they do have other choices that they can make. But once they've embraced the programme, they then form a student company and they run like a real life business. So as you've seen today, they'll have finance controls, they have to raise their own capital, come up with their own idea. And to be honest, that would faze most adults to be able to do that. But what also makes the difference is our incredible team of volunteer business mentors who give up their time to go in schools. If you can think of them as like a Karen Brady or a Nick Hewer, they're there not to do the work for them, but actually to encourage and advise and be guardians of their safety, really.
Which is brilliant. And we're joined by another two members of the team now from Flux. We have Amy Bennett with us, who's company secretary. Hello, Amy. And we've got Juan Gill as well, who's an additional designer for the team too. So first of all, Amy, did you recognise some of what Sue's saying there about what it's like as a young person now going into the working world?
Oh, 100%. I definitely think that with social media, with all these new digital appliances and stuff, I believe a lot of people these days don't have that communication, do not have those confidence to go out into a business situation and develop it. And since joining Junior Achievement, I've definitely found that they enhance what you think, enhance your motivation skills, your outside thinking, what you can do, what you can't do, and really develop your skills from there.
So are you someone who is happy to make a phone call to another person?
Well, now I am, for sure, for sure. I think at the beginning, I was very like, business meetings. We didn't know how to structure a meeting, didn't know how to do that, but we got all these guidelines and we had to push our boundaries every step. And we always had knockbacks, we always had things that we had to do, we always had to go out of our comfort zone, but not out of our comfort zone that we didn't know, oh my God, overdwelling. It was pushing our abilities and boundaries to create a deeper understanding, to know, how to develop as a person. It really has made us I think, as a team, much better as a person. Yeah.
And so sets you up to sort of go out into the working world.
Future careers, we've got the knowledge to absolutely, develop from there, and it will be a great experience to look back on or still withhold if we continue this company, which hopefully we will.
It does sound like, from what they're saying earlier, that it will continue, which is great. And June, you've been involved in the sort of design process as well. How have you found everything with regards to, like Amy's saying, sort of starting out from basically school to being a professional business group?
Yeah, it's been like working in the real world, I guess, in companies. So I get to design things to be used as marketing. So it's like real advertising. And
how do you what do you think about what Sue was saying then about the sort of what do you think are some of the biggest challenges for you? The idea that obviously you're going to be finishing school soon and going out into the big wide world as such. Yeah, Junior Achievement, it gives you the skills to go out into the world with job interviews and the like. Yeah, so you'd be quite happy then. Yes. See, Sarah, it's interesting listening to them because I think, gosh, it makes me sound so old. But when I was their age, I don't think I'd have been as confident at all.
No, these guys have clearly got the edge, and what a head start. I mean, I can remember going for my first interview and being absolutely terrified and having no idea what to expect. I hadn't been in a professional environment before. I'd worked, but it was all very informal. So this is the perfect preparation for the future, and I can't wait to see what happens next, really.
Yeah, very exciting. And Sue, we're talking about young people here that are extremely successful entrepreneurs. I mean, they beat off competition from people who are have been in professional business for presumably years. I mean, that's such an achievement, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm delighted. We had 2 teams that were in the pitch at final, and the teams came first and second, which I think says something about the programme. But it's possibly because of the whole process they've been through. They would have started their companies in October and then raised the funds and brought their product to market. And then we have a big island-wide competition in March, which is a big deal. We have a large award ceremony afterwards, and the team that wins the company programme actually competes in Europe against 39 other countries. And actually they're in Serbia at the moment, the winning team, as I speak, flying the Isle of Man flag. But I think it's an accumulation of all JA programmes, because we start as young as year 6, which is primary school, and we're doing a programme every year in education, so that when they come to do this programme in year 12, they've already been through a number of JA programmes to get them to this point. And research shows it's who you meet that can make a difference. So if you can have 5 or more meaningful contacts with an employer whilst you're in school, you are 5 times less likely to be unemployed when you come out of education. Not only that, you'll earn probably 15% more than your peers. And the reason for that is because having business people in the classroom telling people about the real world makes students understand what's waiting for them when they go out, and they can pass on their life skills and knowledge. I just wish that I'd had it when I was at school, and that's why I'm so passionate, about what we do.
And this is, the programmes don't run themselves. You mentioned before about your volunteer mentors. You're always looking for more volunteer mentors, aren't you? And there are a lot of benefits to being a mentor and volunteering your time to such a worthy cause.
Yes, I'd like to think we're a family. It's a great networking opportunity. It's great for building your skills. But I defy anyone to go into a classroom and not take as much away as you're giving to the students. It can be very, very enlightening, and businesses definitely need to get involved because they need to understand what students are thinking and feeling. These are their future customers and future employees. So JA next year is 100 years old in the States, which is quite amazing. We're working with 10 million students across the globe. But in the Isle of Man, we need 400 volunteers each year. So we set ourselves a target this year for 100 volunteers. We need an additional 100 volunteers.
And if someone's listening and thinks that they could volunteer, how would they do that?
They just need to get in contact with Junior Achievement. Hopefully we can put a link via Manx Radio, but if you just put Junior Achievement onto the internet, our website will pop up, and our telephone number is quite easy. It's 666 266, and just ask for Sue. And I'd be more than happy to have a coffee and a chat and meet with you and just tell you a bit more about what we do.
What sort of skills are you looking for in people that might want to volunteer then?
I think it depends, because we've got mums who are looking to return back to work, looking to build their skill base. We've got people that have taken early retirement. And then we've got some very large organisations like Zurich and KPMG who see this as an integral part of their staff development and can see it as continuous professional development for their staff. And we're really keen also to get young people back that have done JA programmes and are now going back into the classroom to say, well, actually, do you know what? I was sat where you're sat now, and that is really, really good. So from all walks of life, it's just having confidence and a passion about inspiring young people, and that's the 2 main things, really.
And Amy, from your experience in doing this then, and just thinking of your sort of friendship network as well, how many of your sort of peers would you say are interested in setting up their own businesses?
I would say the people who actually participated in Junior Achievement are much more interested in business, setting your own path, doing this, compared to people who didn't do Junior Achievement. It really instills an ambition that not many other students would get. So I believe by not having a programme like this in other schools, I feel it's a major disadvantage. Having this really sets your ambitions high and makes you reach much higher than you thought you actually could, because you understand a level of yourself that you didn't understand before, and you think to yourself, actually, I can do this, I can make something out of this, which is really nice, which I wouldn't take away for an instant. I've enjoyed every second of it.
So inspiring. And do you, and I suppose we should say, you are obviously doing all of this alongside your normal schoolwork. So how much time are you having to dedicate to actually making this happen?
We normally try and aim for one meeting a week. It's hard to juggle, the responsibilities of A-levels with the company there.
And what is next for you then?
Next for me, I hope to continue working with Flux, but obviously continue my A-levels as well.
What about you, Amy? Where are you going from here?
Definitely want to stay with Flux. Brilliant team, brilliant people that I work along with. But I'm hoping to, well, not only that, but pursue also a career as well as this, and join the business, get qualifications, and go from there, really.
Yeah, I'm curious about how this has inspired your future planning in terms of education. Do you think that having experience in business has made you keen to get started in business and get professional qualifications maybe, or are you looking at higher education? Is anyone looking at going to university or anything?
I think through junior achievement, I'm thinking of not going higher education now. I'm thinking of actually going into a business, doing qualifications through them, working my way up, because I believe I've learned through this process that I am much better in an environment like that. I thrive in it, and I just excel in that kind of place, and I think my best potential is in an environment like that, and I'm happy I've learned it through junior achievement, or I would have never known that.
Do you know, it wouldn't surprise me before the end of this show if someone's offered you a job. Seriously. She's brilliant at this, isn't she?
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Natural.
Yeah, so let us know then, Amy, where can people find out more about Flux and about your products?
Well, you can find our products on our website. We do a lot of corporate. At the moment, we haven't hit the consumer side. We're more corporate at the moment. We're looking to go into consumer. But you can find us on the Flux website. If you just type it in, you'll find us easily. And we're on Facebook. And you can email us. It'll be all on the website. And that's how you'll be able to find us.
Exciting times. And Sue, just remind people again about how they can find out more about junior achievement, whether they want to volunteer or take part.
Yeah, they can just they can call 666 266, or it's jaiom.im. But if you put junior achievement Isle of Man into a search engine, you'll find it. What was just asking for the website address for Flux?
Oh, do you...
www.flux-affinity.co.uk.
Yeah,
right.
it.
We will put all of those details, don't you worry, on the blog after the show. But well done for getting that in there, Julie. It's lovely having you all with us. They will be with us, our guests will be with us until the end of the programme, so another sort of 15-20 minutes or so. So if you have any questions for them, you can text 166 177, or you can email studio@manxradio.com. But it's just coming up to 20 minutes to 3 now.
The Nation Station, Manx Radio.
Abbey Dental, sponsors of Women Today, for all aspects of today's dental care. Highly recommended throughout the Isle of Man.
And it's just coming up to 16 minutes to 3 here on Women Today. Now, we were going to be talking, weren't we, Sarah, about happy hounds and positive pooches. We were. And,
sorry, everyone.
I should mention it's because there is a competition. The deadline is tomorrow at midday. I will post the link anyway on the blog after the show, but we're not going to have time for the interview that we did. But essentially, if you've got photos of your dog smiling, it could become Britain's Smiliest Pooch. And why shouldn't we have a Manx winner?
Absolutely.
You know?
Plenty of happy dogs on the island.
Yeah, we're talking about overachieving Manx people anyway on the show today, which is fantastic. So our dogs can do it too. Anyway, I'll put the link on the blog afterwards, and if you want to enter a photo, you can win. It just sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? You can win a year's supply of dog chews. But a lovely idea. You could also donate them to the Manx SPCA.
Oh, what a lovely thought.
Isn't it? So there you go. But instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw ahead to a topic we've got on the programme tomorrow, because tomorrow we're going to be talking with a 25-year-old vlogger, Jade Van Riel, and she's going to be talking about some quite worrying research around the subject of how difficult it is nowadays for first-time buyers and young people to get on the housing market. And apparently there are people taking really quite extreme measures, like, for instance, marrying for property rather than love, because of course if you're married you can combine incomes and you're more likely to be able to get a property. I class you very much so as a young person, Sarah Hendy. Is this something that you've been considering yourself?
Well, I think I just about fall into that category. Yeah, somebody of my mum's generation would have definitely had a house by now. My mum, I think, bought a house at 21. She it was so much more possible in those days, and yes, she worked very hard for it, but it was all available to her. I don't even have the first first part of a deposit saved up yet. My sister, on the other hand, very, she's good at planning. She's very sort of financially driven, and she's looking to buy a house. I didn't know what I was going to do. I thought I'd be travelling, and it wasn't in the equation. And now it's just getting harder and harder and harder. So who knows? I might live in a caravan one day. Who knows?
There's nothing wrong with caravans. We are talking to members of the Flux Junior Achievement and winners of Islexpo Pitch It competition 2018, and we're joined again by Amy and Mikey from the team. Amy, is this something that you've thought about as a young person?
I think because I'm getting to that age where you have to think about further life, I definitely think it's much harder for our generation, and the pressures, or you have to do this, you have to do that, and I think it becomes a lot because society expects a certain thing, and I think it puts pressure on you financially, on you physically, emotionally, mentally, all of that, and trying to achieve that is so hard because of the inflation of house prices and stuff. So trying to get to that point will take much longer than our parents did, unfortunately.
And Mike, I'm assuming, you all having got where you have done with your business group, don't look scared, it's all right, I'm not going to ask you anything terrible. But you have got sort of business minds, you've got those heads on your shoulders already. Do you, for instance, one of the reasons that we're speaking to this girl Jade tomorrow is because she started saving when she was 16 and as a result was able to get a property at the age of 23. Do you or any of your friends ever think about saving money for the future?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, most of the friends I have are all already saving money, but it is quite difficult with the amount you need to save for you to be able to purchase a property, especially when you're getting to that age in about 10, 15 years where you need a property to be owned for your family, etc.
And for the future in general. And I suppose Katie Nicholson from Bridge Angel Network is with us as well. And Katie, we are talking to people who are very young. Just as we said, they're from QEII High School here, and it almost seems unfair to make them consider this because it is, in a way, quite far down the line in their future. But if they don't start saving now, who knows what position they'll be in. It's a scary time for them, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really difficult, I think, to predict as well, because like Sarah said, our parents' generation were buying property early 20s and had, been able to move into bigger and better houses along the way. I've just actually bought my first house and I'm 31, and many of my friends are just kind of starting out as well. So we're already significantly behind previous generations. I think there's a lot to do maybe around educating people as well, because it's not just about buying the house. There's all the other things that come into it, like the legal fees, insurance, conveyancing. It all adds up. So if younger generations aren't necessarily aware of that, then that's just something else that they need to be educated in. But also, like you said, you don't really know what you're going to be doing. I know the Isle of Man's got schemes like the first time buyer scheme, but I personally didn't sign up to that because I didn't know if I would go travelling or stay on the Isle of Man, and it is quite difficult as someone who's just maybe leaving school to know whether you're going to be going to university or what your plans are. It's can weigh heavy on your mind, I guess.
Yeah, well, having said that, I do think that our guests this afternoon will probably have no problem whatsoever because they are so switched on, aren't they? It's crackers. Speaking of, Amy, just remind us, and Mikey, just remind us again, the name of your company, Mikey, and where people can find you and find out more.
Our company is called Flux, and you can find us
at www.flux-affinity.co.uk.
Oh, see, they're so good at this presentation thing. It's brilliant. And you can buy your product.
Yes.
Yes, you can buy it on the website. It's stored in Manx Telecom, Colburn's.
That's a good starter for 10.
Yes.
That'll do us. That'll do us. And Katie, obviously, as we mentioned, you are from Bridge Angel Investor Network. If someone was wanting to come to you and wanting to pitch for investment, what sort of hints and tips could you give them?
So I would say in terms of what an investor's looking for, they're always going to be looking for a return on their investment within a reasonably short period of time, normally about 3 years. And also one of the main things is the strength of your management team and to show that you've got some skin in the game, so that you've either invested yourself some money or you've really put the hours in to develop your business.
And if somebody does want to approach you, then how can they do that?
So we're always looking for new members of the network, be it investors or businesses looking for support and advice. Our website is www.bridge.co.im, or they can email me at katie@bridge.co.im.
Fantastic. And of course, we will also put all of those details on the blog after the show. And future's looking rosy for Pitch It 2019 then, isn't
I know,
it?
I'm really looking forward to what we get next year.
Yeah, well, no doubt we will. We have also been joined, just come over to the mic again, Sue. We've also been joined this afternoon by Sue Cook, who is from Junior Achievement. Sue, just remind us again for people who are thinking that they might want to take part in Junior Achievement. I mean, you go into all of the schools anyway, don't you? That's part of what you do.
Yeah, we're in every primary school and every high school. So really, if you want to volunteer, you can choose where you volunteer and when you volunteer, as long as it's during school time. But just to get in contact, we're happy to meet you for a coffee and a chat. No obligation, but just give us a call on 666 266.
And you mentioned as well that the winners of the Junior Achievement competition that happened at the start of the year, whereabouts are they currently? And just tell us a bit about the group themselves.
Okay, so this team is Jumpstart from Ramsey Grammar School. And their product is Coffee Dew. It's a cold brew coffee that they've developed.
Ooh, I want to know more.
And today they're flying to Serbia to take part in the European finals of the Junior Achievement competition. So they've met all the top teams from Europe, and over the next 3 days will be competing with their product. But I have to say, the top 3 teams this year, there was just a point between them. We've never had a competition so close. And so I would have been delighted if we could have taken all 3 teams, but unfortunately we could only take 1.
Gosh, that is an incredible achievement, isn't it? It really is.
Fantastic.
So, well, huge thanks anyway to Sue Cook from Junior Achievement, for the entire Flux team for being with us as well, and also to Katie Nicholson from Bridge Angel Network.